What's up, y'all? So today I'm going to be telling you about how I got one of my first professional trims at Supercuts and how much I loved it. So back in the day, I was one of those naturals that I tried to hold on to every little inch of hair. And I did not like trimming my hair. And if I trimmed it, it was on the fly, it was on a whim, put my hair in twists and just snip, snip. However, after getting so frustrated with my hair one day, it was just tangling so much. I was having a hard time taking care of it. I just decided, you know what? I am going to go to Supercuts and get my hair trimmed. And at the time, I was not a stylist yet. This was way before I became a stylist. I didn't know I didn't know who to go to. I didn't have a person in mind to trim my hair. So I'm like, surely this place specializes in trims or cuts. So there has to be at least one black girl there, and there was. So what I did was I found the one nearest to me and I called and asked them if they had somebody there that was good with working with African American hair. And they said yes. They said you'll just have to come with your hair blow dried straight. No problem. I can do that. I mean, I can do it good enough for where I was at the time. And I came in, and when she started trimming, she faced me to the mirror. She told me how much she would trim. And honestly, as a hairstylist or as a person who is used to doing their own hair, having somebody else comb your hair felt so amazing. And I just sat there and just let her trim. And she trimmed it perfectly. I didn't feel like she trimmed too much. She was gentle with me. She did such a great job that when I was done, I'm like, wow, my hair feels amazing. It looks amazing. Like, I was so happy. Unfortunately, I don't know where that picture is. I wish I can show you guys, but just know it was good. Ultimately, that was the day that I learned the importance of trims because my hair styling was so much easier. Like, it was so much easier to style my hair on a regular and weekly basis. And I realized, like, what was I so afraid of when it came to getting trims? And here's what it was, to be honest. Back in the day when I was in high school, I went natural. And when I went natural, actually, let me rephrase that. I went natural in middle school. I went natural eighth grade. Funny enough, I told this story in another video, but for the eighth grade, I went natural in the beginning of the eighth grade, and I still wanted my hair to be straight in the back for the eighth grade prom. So I relaxed the back of it so that it can go into an updo. Anyway, I'll just say I went natural eighth grade, ninth grade. And I had never gotten a trim. I would trim away any crazy pieces here and there, but I never got in the trim, and I decided to have one of my teammates' mothers trim it at the time because she was really good with hair. So I went to the shop, and when I went, she wasn't available. So I'm like, well, I'm here already. I just still need my hair done. So they referred me to some other person in the shop. And honestly, at the time, I wish I would have had more judgment or better judgment because going to him was a mistake because he cut my hair crazy. First of all, when he flat ironed my hair felt and smelled so burned. And I'm just like, I feel like this is not correct. I feel like this is not right. I mean, at the time, I was not able to do this myself. Granted, I'm like in 10th, I believe that this was 10th grade at this moment. At this time, my hair was long. That was the longest my hair had ever been in my entire life. So I went to get my hair straightened and trimmed, and he cut off big chunks. So I feel like from that moment forward, I was like, I'm not letting another professional touch my hair again because I didn't want to experience that again. And I felt like he didn't have any care for the way he took care of my hair. He was just like, girl, we just gonna cut your hair. And I'm like, can you ask me where I want to cut it? Can you show me where you're cutting it? Anyway, so ultimately, after getting my hair done at Supercuts, I decided, yeah, I need to keep up with this trim thing. And honestly, I encourage you to do the same. So, as a hairstylist, here are the main three things that I hear people ask or say when it comes to getting their hair trimmed. So, one of the first questions I get asked is, why should I get a trim? And the biggest reason I believe you should get a trim is because number one, trims eliminate the wear and tear from your hair that you have on a regular basis. So just like your nails, if you don't groom them on a weekly to bi-weekly basis, you're going to start getting hangnails. You're going to start getting nails that start to rip or catch onto things that you don't intend them to catch onto. And I would say, look at your hair the same way. So just how you trim your nails or you get your nails done every 2 to 3 weeks to 4 weeks, you need to do the same maintenance for your ends. You don't have to do it at the same frequency, of course, but there has to be some type of rhythm to how you're maintaining the ends of your hair. Now, with that being said, there is a difference in length of time that you're going to do this, and I'll explain that at the end. But ultimately, trimming is a part of grooming, and sure, people complain that they don't want, how will they retain length if you are not, if you constantly are trimming your ends? And I believe length retention is kind of a habit. If you learn how to take care of your hair on a regular basis, your hair, no matter what, is going to keep growing. Actually, let me rephrase that, not no matter what, because there are so many other factors that can contribute to why your hair is not growing. So I won't say no matter what, but in general, at a baseline, if you are having good hair care, your hair will just grow. Now, with that being said, when it comes to why you should get a trim, it's good grooming practice. Trims also help with shedding. So when you are constantly having so much shedding, I feel like it's been past time for a trim. Because when you trim your ends, number one, it removes those knots that live at the bottom of your hair that sometimes will catch onto good hairs and increase your shedding because it's removing other hairs because they're tangling on the ends, tangling overall. Another reason you should get a trim is easier wash days, easier maintenance. And honestly, to me, as a hairstylist, I think it looks better. I do believe that I've seen people who are just like, look, I don't want to trim. I don't care if my ends are see-through. I don't care how it looks. I like my hair to be long. Everybody has their own look that they prefer, and I will not argue with anybody on that. But as a hairstylist, if you're asking my professional opinion, I believe trims make the hair look better and better, I would say, more groomed. And I prefer how hair looks when it's even on the ends. And if that's not your forte, then hey, everybody has their own look that they prefer. The second thing that I get asked is, who should I get a trim from? And I think what people are really asking is, can I trim my own hair? And the big answer I would say is no, because you cannot see the back of your head, and it is always better to have a professional work on your hair because number one, not only do they have the tools, but they have the wherewithal to know where to trim. Now, if you are one of those people who really enjoys taking matters into your own hands and you really want to trim your own hair, I would highly suggest that number one, you get professional shears. And no, you don't have to get $100 to $200 shears, but get shears that are really sharp. Get shears that are really sharp because you don't want to cut your hair with something that is dull, because what I believe happens is when you cut the hair, it is fraying the ends again, increasing the probability of it requiring a trim sooner. So you want to use very sharp shears when it comes to trimming your own hair. And number two, you can either blow dry it and section it out and be very meticulous. So I will probably put it in like 8 sections, and with each section, go through, fill your ends and fill where you're going to cut. Or you can also put your hair in mini twists and trim like that. I believe you're not going to end up with the most even head of hair, but I think it's better than going super duper long periods of times without trimming without trimming your ends. So either you find a trusted professional like Supercuts. Actually, this is not a sponsored video for Supercuts at all. I'm just saying, find a trusted professional in your city, or if you are more of a DIY person, get very good quality shears and have some patience because it's going to take a while, depending on your length and density, of course. It's going to take some time to get a really good cut done for yourself. And the last, and I would say most important question that people ask me is, how often should I get a trim? And I believe trim should be done at least every 3 to 4 months at baseline. This, of course, will vary depending on your head of hair, depending on your length, your density, what you're doing to your hair. Like, there are so many factors that you should consider when it comes to knowing how frequently you should do your hair. But I think at a baseline, trim your ends every 3 to 4 months. I have some clients who are able to go 6 months without trimming their ends because their hair, honestly, it just naturally doesn't get single strand knots. Yes, there are some people like that. And their hair just doesn't tangle. So they don't have to get trims as often. But when we trim their ends, they do see a difference after that 6-month period. And there are some people who I've heard somebody say that they only trim when the moon is up or something like that. I don't know. Just find your rhythm and trim on that rhythm. Keep a log of when you're getting your trims done. That way you don't feel like you're always like, you always feel like somebody's telling you need to trim. Where it's like, I just trimmed last month. And I know there are stylists who vary. Some people think you should get it every 8 weeks like you did when you had a relaxer. To each its own. I think it's a matter of what look you prefer, because some people like that super sharp, super groomed, super clean cut look. Some people don't mind a little bit of jiggity jaggedy edges. Also depends on how you wear your hair. If you're constantly wearing a curly cut, if you're wearing wong curls, if you're wearing braids, like these are things that may not show the look of your ends as much, so you may not have to get a trim as frequently. But just pay attention to single strand knots, pay attention to tangles and shedding, because those are the biggest ways to indicate that it is time for a trim. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my next video where I talk about how I used to use bentonite clay to detangle my hair. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you here next time. Bye.